Question for Coach.
They're all conference. Talk about the Remy and Verge.
Yeah, I mean, Remy had a bad year to be in the Pac-12 if he had designs on trying to be player of the year, because Pritchard's had an amazing career. You know, he's had a chance to be maybe college basketball player of the year, certainly first team All-American. So it was tough, or else I think Remy's the guy. So it was, he's in the 2 slot. Happy for him. He's had a great season, tremendous regular season. The numbers he put up, the games he's carried us through. So great job for Remy. Happy for him. And then Verge is, I think, leading the country in scoring off the bench. That's not surprising. He's embraced that role very well. He's, you know, he's not a starter. He's just a guy that, I mean, I'm sorry, he's not a bench guy. He's just a starter that's coming off the bench. So if that makes sense. But it's, he's had a great season. I'm happy for just where he's come full circle through what he's had to go through. It hasn't been smooth sailing from the jump, and Verge really finding his stride late in the season.
Remy kind of brushed off even being first team all-conference or being all-conference. What kind of load does he put on his shoulders?
He just doesn't want to be about him. He wants to win. He's a winner. He doesn't want his teammates to feel a certain way about talking a lot about this stuff. So it's just not who he is. He's more about winning than individual awards.
What about the Pac-12 being pretty much wide open going into Vegas?
I mean, it's I think it's been as competitive the league as I've been in since I've been here, and that even goes with that first year. There aren't going to be any easy games this whole week for anybody. So it's a great feeling that we're not putting ourselves in harm's way, you know, the first day, and that we get a chance to see who our opponent will be. And you know, it's just crazy how it's worked out that, you know, most of the conference will be eliminated by the time we play. There'll only be 5 teams left, and we tip off on Thursday night.
Do you like that, Bobby, or would you rather get it out of the way earlier?
I don't mind that at all. We've been playing a lot of late games this year, so I think we've had good practice at playing late in the day. So it works out well for us, and we're, you know, again, it's your percentages go up as the field reduces, and that's what's going to happen going into our game on Thursday night.
The potential for playing multiple days in a row if you play well, obviously. What do you like about your team's ability to handle that situation?
I think we've proven over the course of the year we're a very, you know, well-conditioned team. We can get up and down the floor. We have good speed and quickness, and I think we have pretty good depth. And you need to have you know, depth when you're hoping to win 3 straight days. And I think that showed in our first half versus Washington State, to have, you know, 4 guys with 2 fouls, 4 key players in your rotation, and then still be able to put guys in and be productive. And so, you know, things happen this time of year, so you got to, you know, be prepared for that.
Do you think about where you're at in terms of NCAA tournament, what you need to do, if anything, here?
I just feel like this is as good as I've felt going into the Pac-12 tournament since I've been here, and I'm not taking anything away from all our competition. It's going to be very steep competition, but this is a team that has been getting better and better throughout the season, and that's what you hope for. That you have a team you have great confidence in, you know, going into postseason, and that's what we've done all year. So I think we've won a lot of big games, and in a very good conference. To be tied for 3rd in this league with 11 wins it says a lot about, you know, our body of work and what we've done this year, and to win 20 games. So we've done a lot of great things to put us in excellent position for the NCAA tournament.
How do you feel too about, I mean, you said playing 3 games in 3 days, it becomes more of a, I guess, attrition, but just focusing on what you need to do to dictate tempo. Is that your message to the team, I mean, as you move on in a tournament like this?
The first game is going to be, it will be tough, I think, because, you know, you got to get, you know, some of the cobwebs off, or you're playing in a tournament and you're unfamiliar, and the team that you're playing against had a day before to play, so they're already acclimated and adjusted, and so that's the challenge in that first game. The second game is like, you know, that if you go all in and you could get that one, that no matter how tired you feel on Saturday, that you're playing for an opportunity to cut the nets down, and I've shared, you know, that with the team. I've been fortunate enough as a coach and a player to win a Pac-12, to win conference tournaments as a player and a coach. So I know the feeling of doing that, and it's worth the investment and the energy that we're going to try and show over these next couple of days.
And Bobby, have you been able to share some of that experience you've had as a player too, especially these past couple of days leading up to the tourney?
Just that we have to treat this like we've been treating these weeks. I think we've been practicing well, and we've had a good plan to get ourselves ready to play well on Thursday. We've had a number of Thursday, Saturdays in the regular season, so not trying to do anything out of the box or anything different. The only thing I will do is most likely scale back some of our live work this week, just to hopefully limit the possibility, knock on wood, that someone would get injured in practice. That's be the last thing that you would hope that would happen this week with us. So we still have a couple of days to get through.
And you mentioned the confidence going into this tournament, the Pac-12 tournament for later on the NCAA. Have you been able to put that into perspective, just the drought ASU has been on in the past couple of years, being in this position to go far?
I'm just proud of the team and how we recovered the season and how we just grabbed the season and ran with it through 5 weeks really of the whole month of February and now into this stage. What we've been able to do to kind of put ourselves in this position has been outstanding. It's been it's been a remarkable run we've been on. Sometimes you could get overlooked just because of how good UCLA it was also the last month, and so it's but we've been playing so well. I'm so proud of the guys who were able to push through some of the early adversities that we had, and now we're playing some great basketball.
Has Romello had a couple days to kind of get back mentally and get right again?
I mean, he looked better today. He had a good way about him today, and he's still going to be going through the process, the grieving processes as you would when you lose someone very important. But he had a good attitude in practice today and had good life to him, smiling and just being the guy that we're used to seeing.
Was Verge quick to accept that sixth man, or to embrace the sixth-man role, or did it take him a little while to see the success before he realized how important it was?
I mean, I never saw Zoe sulking or putting his head down that I moved him out of the lineup. And so I mean, and I've never had anyone come up to me and say, "Hey, he's not handling this well." But I mean, I've heard him say that he likes to look at things for a couple of minutes and see what the game looks like. It gives him a little bit of an edge, but he's not going to be in this role too much more time. This season's going to end, and he's going to have a different role. But he's either way, starting, coming off the bench. I mean, I just think he's way more comfortable out on the floor right now with Remy playing, those two guys playing together. I think it took a little bit of an adjustment. I've said this, just when you're in a situation where you have the basketball the whole game and your coach wants you to have it because he needs you to make plays. It's a little different at this level because there are a number of guys that need to have their opportunities. I think Zoe was kind of learning when he could go and when how he can impact the game when he didn't have the basketball.
When do you think you really saw him start to adjust and be able to know how to play off the ball and play with Remy?
It's more of just how he began to start finishing. Like I was just amazed when I knew he was good when we got our hands on him, but just to watch him day to day in the summer and just see how creative he was in the paint, scoring the ball in a variety of ways, and his mid-range, off one leg, off balance. Like he and Remy both have a unique ability to make difficult shots, and I wasn't seeing that the first part of the season, and I didn't know why. And some of it could be him just getting, again, more comfortable with Remy. Some of it is seeing all the size that he might not necessarily have saw at the junior college level, that he needs to make some subtle adjustments in his own game, but he's figured it out.
Bobby, was there a player or anything in the all-conference voting you looked at and said, they got it right with this kid?
I mean, there was nothing there that really surprised me a ton by what I looked at. I mean, I thought Romello would get more credit for what he's done. He had an opportunity to be on a couple of teams, but I mean, he's leading rebounder in the conference, and then we're one of the top 3 teams. In terms of other guys, I mean, Tiger Campbell maybe for UCLA being left off of all freshmen, but that was a little surprising just based on maybe not his whole season, but certainly the last 8 weeks, just what he's meant to UCLA.
Bobby, I don't know if you've talked about this before, but do you pay attention to any kind of bracketology, stuff like that?
I wasn't doing it, but you can't avoid seeing it somewhere. you know, whether it's on TV, someone getting on TV, when you're watching a game and talking about, you know, these teams, bubble, this, and then, you know, and then also you just want to see where you stand, so as much as you resist, and I resisted for a while, but it's so close now that you start peeking at it.
With Remy, with such a strange weekend in the books now, do you kind of expect the pendulum to swing the other way for this tournament?
He had a great way about him today, and just, you know, really positive, and, you know, so I mean, I'm sure this is the time of year that he lives for, and you know, he can't wait to get to Vegas and play. And it was nice, you know, for him to just have a better shooting game as the game wore on. I think that'll be helpful with his confidence, and not a guy that doubts himself a ton, but you could see he was, you know, searching a little bit, you know, early in that Washington State game. And but he still did other things. I mean, even though he didn't shoot it well in the Washington game, he had 6 assists, no turnovers. I think he had 12 assists and 2 turnovers in those 2 games. So he's always going to do something to try and help you win.
You feel the depth too. I mean, Mickey coming back. I mean, even Verge off the bench. That, especially this time of year. I mean, it's a bigger advantage for you guys, because you always hear coaches maybe want to shorten the bench, but I mean, you have, like you said, the depth. I mean, that give you a good advantage going into the tournament.
Yeah, it was some good options, and again, I credited, you know, our bench, especially in the first half versus Washington State, because we had all the foul issues, and I thought Jalen House, Jalen Graham, Khalid Thomas hit a big 3. You know, the guys that didn't even play in the second half of that game still, you know, made a good contribution, and that's what a team's all about, and it's good, especially on the front court, that we have, you know, a number of guys that we could go to.
Guys, good?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.